let While he's out, let me introduce a new senior computer group member, Marty Tullar. Marty, want to welcome you. She was introduced to this by Stan Paulus, who is not on this morning, but we want to welcome Marty.
So welcome. Good morning, Marty. Can you tell us a tiny bit about yourself? What you know, what you do, what you're interested in?
Well, I'm retired, and my last job, I worked for the University of California, San Diego, and I was an administrative assistant. My field was accounting. And so I love computers and I love doing computer things. And I do a lot of home stuff, you know, just spreadsheets and financial stuff. But I need to familiarize myself more with, you know, Zoom and other computer activities. And so I thought this is a great place to learn.
Well, you've come to the right place.
And let me sick you on another place. Our website is SC, you know that? You're nodding your head.
Yeah, I got that when I signed up, and
Okay.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
On our website, there is a tab called Resources. And if you click that tab, there's another tab that says Hank Drayton's mini seminars.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And you will, if you wade through there, and it takes a lot of wading, there's over 100 of them. One of them is tips and tricks for Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So that would probably be a good place for you to start
Very good.
after this session or sometime next week.
Okay.
Also, Marty, if you want to be recognized and you want to speak, are you aware of the raise hand?
No, I didn't see where it was located.
If you
I
go down to the bottom of
Yeah.
the screen and you go to reactions, which is on mine, it's the
Oh,
second
okay.
from the right, and you click on reactions, there is a bar that says raise hand. And when you click that, if you'll see in mine, it brings up an orange hand in the upper left-hand corner of my video.
Uh-huh.
You see that?
Yeah.
And that is an indication that you want to speak to the group. And so you wait, and usually someone will recognize you at that point. And then when you're done, you go down to the same area and you click lower hand, and that takes it away.
Oh, that's good to know.
And while you have your hand up, you get promoted to the upper left corner of this
Yeah, I saw that.
group of icons. You see that Will got promoted, and then he unpromoted himself when he lowered his hand.
Oh, okay.
And Mary, the difference between raise hand and all the other little icons on there, the little, the clapping and the thumbs up, those come up for a little bit and then go away.
Yeah.
The raise hand stays up until you lower it.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
All right, everybody. Let's see. Did I finish telling you all about the fact that there really are two things that you ought to watch about smart homes? One, the one I'm going to show you, and the other one, which is the pros and cons of smart home. And I will get that link put up on our website under the one that I've already put up, which is the link for today's presentation. And now I think, unless there's something we need to do before the presentation, I'm going to mute all and then start the video. Last chance, wave your hand if you've got to say something before we start.
Nope.
So, whoops, who said what? Never mind. Okay, mute all. Yes. Share screen. I don't get muted when I mute all. Share screen, wrong place to share screen. Just a minute. Share screen. Here we go. Go back to share screen. Click the right buttons and share.
So here in the family room, we have the frame TV, and it's the 2021 version.
Hold on, I didn't start at the beginning.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to our house. It's been a while since our last tour video, and I can't wait to show you all my favorite smart devices and automations I'm using around here. As you probably know, I set up everything myself, so anyone could do any of this stuff. There's a lot to go over, so let's get started here in the family room. So here in the family room, we have the frame TV, and it's the 2021 version that's 65 inches. It doesn't have high specs, but we really like this TV because it displays art when the TV is off. And we added these little white bezel snap-on things on the outside of the TV. What's cool about those is that it makes the TV match the other pictures on the wall, since they have some other ones with white frames. And it just looks like another picture on this gallery wall, which I wish I could take credit for. My wife designed all of it, and I think she did a really good job. My favorite automation here on the TV is when we're watching it and someone walks up to our front door. The video doorbell, if it detects a person, will display a notification on top of whatever we're watching on the TV. And what's really cool is that it will be a picture, so we can see if it's a package or if it's someone just putting a flyer on our door. That way we know if we need to get up and answer the door or not. When it comes to lighting in here, everything is a dumb LED bulb in the ceiling, and it's controlled by a smart light switch that we put in. And the reason we went with smart light switches and not smart bulbs is, one, cost, because it's way less expensive to use smart light switches, and it's way more family friendly to use smart light switches because anyone can use them. Plus, you can automate them still. We have our lights automatically turn on around dinner time, and then they automatically turn off when it's bedtime. So I pretty much never touch a light switch. Also, the lights in here automatically dim when it's the kids' bedtime so that we can finally relax once the kids go down, which is usually a little bit later than they should be, but we're working on it. And over here is another way we control our lights is with a motion sensor. We kind of have a love-hate relationship with the motion sensors with our family. You know, when all the lights are off and someone walks in here, the motion sensor works great, turns on the lights. But if we're watching TV and someone gets up and all the lights turn back on, everyone gets a little frustrated. So there's an easy way to disable this motion sensor that my wife found out. Just flip it around. Yeah, my wife's kind of a pro when it comes to disabling smart tech around our house. I don't know if that's a good thing. So over on this side of the room, we have an Echo 4th Gen on a battery base. And I thought it would be a good idea to kind of hide it since we already have an Echo Show on the other side of the room. But turns out you can't really see if you trigger it by your voice. So it's not the best spot. I'm gonna probably have to move it. But we really do like the battery base. We just unplug it and we can bring it to the backyard to listen to music, and we use that all the time. We have two big sliding glass doors back here, and on them are Ring contact sensors. We really like the Ring alarm system because it doesn't need a monthly fee. So on all the exterior doors, we have Ring contact sensors for the alarm system, but also for automations. Say, for example, our kids want to go play in the backyard around nighttime. They can just open up the door and those contact sensors will trigger an automation that will turn on all the backyard lights for them. And then when they're done playing and everything, all we have to do is just press this smart light switch to turn everything off. Something really family friendly to control the lights back there. And we did a whole backyard tour that you can go check out in a video we did recently. And I'll link all those down in the description. All right, now let's move on to the next room, which is probably my favorite room in the whole house, and it's our theater room. We have a 120-inch screen with a short throw 4K projector, and it's so much fun to watch movies and play games in here. We have a Dolby Atmos system with speakers in the ceiling and speakers in the front, a Denon receiver. We're also using an Xbox Series X for games and media. We have a bunch of smart lighting in here, which
Hank, our video has gone all gray bars.
a little bit more. And the way I control everything is with this little tablet connected to the seat. It has this dashboard that basically runs Amazon routines and control everything. Since everything is smart in this room, except for the projector. It's technically smart, but it doesn't really work well. So I added a Broadlink hub that can send the remote's IR signals to it so I can automate the projector. That way, the little tablet, I can just press one button on it and it will turn everything on, including the projector, the sound, the lights, all of it. And then when it's time to watch a movie, I press another button, all the lights change, and then one more button will turn everything off. So it's super easy to use. We also have some Lutron shades in here that will black out everything, as well as some switchbot curtains up here that will close this doorway, and it can make it nice and dark in here. It's a really room, and we did a whole video on it. If you want to see more about the lighting and the chairs and all of that in there. Now let's move on to the kitchen. And in here we have another motion sensor, and I really love this motion sensor, especially here in the kitchen, because it doesn't take up any counter space since it plugs right in. So you don't have to worry about batteries either, which is so nice. And what's really cool is it has an RGB light for notifications. So right now it's lit up red, and that means our robot vacuum has gone around and cleaned, and I need to empty the dustbin. So after I empty the dustbin, I can just open up this drawer and there's a hidden button and I can turn off that light. Over here we have an Echo Show 15, and I love how big this display is. It's not perfect, and we just did a review on it. You can see the display no matter where you're sitting or standing in this kitchen. I think bigger smart displays are where things are going to in the future. Now over here is an Ecobee Thermostat. I love the Ecobee thermostats for how much you can customize them. They're not for everyone, like Nest thermostats and Honeywell thermostats are great because they're easy to use, but for me, the Ecobee thermostat is the best one. Over here, we have a bread box, and you could probably guess what's inside. It's what keeps our kids alive. They're iPads. Yeah, our kids need these to live every single day. And we needed a good spot to store their iPads and charge them, so Allie had the idea to buy this bread box. It's really inexpensive off Amazon, and I just drilled a hole in the back to put the charging cords through, and it's worked really great. So over here, we have a hidden Raspberry Pi Zero behind these little containers, and we're using the Raspberry Pi Zero for a program called Room Assistant. Room Assistant is a really cool program that uses Bluetooth on different devices like my phone, and it can run automations based on what room I'm in. So if you want to hear more about that, let me know down in the comments because I could do an advanced automation video. All right, now we're moving on to the pantry. Yeah, we're going into the pantry. And as you can see, the lights automatically turn on, and it's using this motion light switch right here, and it's not smart. And not every light switch in the house has to be smart. This one just needs to turn on the lights when we walk into the pantry to get food and turn off the lights when we're out. So it works perfectly, and we have a few of these throughout the house. On the ceiling, we have a Unify Wi-Fi 6 long-range access point, and we have a few of these in our house as well, and the Wi-Fi in our house is amazing. Down here is a Doggy Door, and yes, that is automated as well. We have a motion sensor in there for Luna, and whenever she goes out at night, the lights outside will automatically turn on for her because Luna's kind of scared of the dark. We're also using that motion sensor to make sure Luna goes outside and uses the potty enough times during the day, because if it's been about 5 hours and she hasn't gone outside, she'll hear this.
Luna, go potty, you lazy ball of fur.
All right, moving on to the laundry room. As you can see, the lights automatically turn on as well with another motion light switch. That way, if you're carrying a bunch of laundry, you don't have to turn on the lights. We have smart washer dryer, as you would expect, that can send announcements when washer's done. There's also an automation when the washing machine starts, it turns on a smart switch that controls an exhaust fan in the ceiling because we have a lot of electronics in here and we don't want to get it too humid when the washing machine and dryer are going. There's a lot going on with this server rack. Basically, all the Ethernet cables from all over our house come into this one point and plug into this network switch. And we have an Ethernet cable or port in almost every single room, as well as PoE cameras outside of our house. And all of those cameras, including our doorbell, which is Wi-Fi, connect to this Unified Dream Machine Pro. And that has a hard drive inside and can record 24/7 footage. There's also a few vacuums in here. The Dyson V10 Animal Plus that we just picked up on Black Friday, and that thing works great. We also have a robot vacuum that's automated to run when everyone is away from the house. When all of our phones disconnect from Wi-Fi, it will trigger an automation that will also start the robot vacuum. And then when we come home, it sends it back to the dock. And what's really nice is that the robot vacuum has cameras in front of it so it can avoid objects. But sometimes, well, a lot of the times, my kids leave tons of stuff on the ground and it can get stuck. So when that happens, I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed at how much my kids can destroy in one day. Here in the hallway, we have a few brilliant light switches that we're using the motion sensors to turn on the lights. We also use the brilliant light switches to quickly make changes to our smart home as well. There's some Z-Wave and Zigbee extenders right here because this is kind of the middle of our house. And the Zigbee extender is just a smart outlet that's not plugged into anything. That works really well to extend the range of the Zigbee signal. The front window right here is smart. It's using just this little smart wand, and it's automated to open up in the morning and close right before sunset. There's some smart outlets right here that control all of our porch lights, and those will turn on at sunset and then turn off when we're going to bed. And then if it's really late at night and someone comes up to our front door, there's an automation that will turn on those front porch lights from the doorbell. So that way we can see who's there and maybe even scare off anybody if they weren't supposed to be there. All right, now let's go check out the garage. We have a ring contact sensor on here as well. And my favorite part of the garage is the lights that automatically turn on. As you can see, it's really bright in here, and they're a nice white light, and they just light up the whole garage and make it feel like kind of like this shop that you want to hang out and work out here. And they're automated with a smart outlet that's just plugged right up there in the ceiling. So when any of the garage doors open, all these lights turn on. It's really, really nice. And over here, this garage is still a work in progress, but we have an Echo Dot to listen to music and a Wisecam B3 to keep an eye on things. We also have 3 Tesla Powerwalls out here, and these things are awesome because they can power our entire house, even our 2 AC units if the grid is down. And we use these with our Tesla solar panels on our roof. And we did a whole video on the Tesla Powerwalls and solar panels that you can go check out after this video. So in the master bedroom, we have a contact sensor up on the door that we have also on the other bedroom doors as well to run automation so that if you have to go get a drink in the middle of the night, it will turn on these hallway lights. And we also have a motion sensor in here, as you can see by the light just turning on. It's on the bookshelf as well, similar to that family room. And all the lights in here, again, are Lutron switches, as well as the shades. They're smart shades that can wake me up in the morning, which my wife's not a huge fan of. What's cool is these lights that are controlled by Lutron, as well as these Lutron shades, have these little Pico remotes, and you can put those somewhere and easily control them anywhere in the room. So we have some in my wife's nightstand, and that way she can control the lights and the shades very easily. We also have a mounted TV that's kind of far away from our bed. So we're using the Echo Dots on our nightstands as speakers for the TV. That way we don't have to blast sound across the room and wake up everyone in the house at night. And before you're like, whoa, you have Echo Dots listening to you in your bedroom, don't worry. We also have a Google Home display also listening as well. So I'm using the Google display to kind of control everything from my side of things. And I have a withing sleep sensor underneath my mattress to keep track of my sleep, as well as run automations if I'm getting into bed or getting out of bed. We also have this Echelon bike that I hacked the screen so it can display Netflix or YouTube. It's basically like an Android tablet now. And I have this old Android phone that controls the bike. Now let's move on to the bathroom. As you're going to see, the lights automatically turn on from a motion sensor that's plugged in right above a mounted Echo Dot. And the Echo Dot we listen to when we're getting ready or showering. This motion sensor is awesome because it's like a 6-in-1 sensor. It has humidity, light, and a bunch of other things. And it can plug in for power so you don't have to worry about batteries, which is super convenient. The motion sensor also turns off the lights if it does not detect motion. And you might be wondering, what if someone is showering? Well, there's an override to stop that from happening. So if the shower light or the shower exhaust fan is on, then the motion detection will not turn off the lights. I'm using a bunch of smart dimmer switches for this bathroom, and these ones are from Casa, and throughout the house I'm mainly using Lutron, but I wanted to see if these inexpensive Casa Wi-Fi dimmer switches would work well, and surprisingly they do, so I recommend these things. All right, before we head into the office, there's a smart light out here that will turn red whenever I'm in a meeting, and it does this automatically using my Google Calendar. Anytime it sees the word meeting in a calendar event, that way my family knows that I'm probably on a call if the light's red. In the office, we have a lot of smart lights like these nanoleaf wood panels that look amazing, as well as some IKEA smart shades that are connected to the SmartThings hub. And we have a few other hubs in here, like the HomePod Mini that uses Thread, as well as a Bond bridge. And that Bond bridge is pretty cool because it turns all of our RF fans in our house smart. I highly recommend Bond if your fans already use a remote to make them smart. And then we also have a Broadlink button that can control everything. So it's just mounted right here, and you can press a button to turn everything off, or you can press a button to turn everything on or change some different scenes. On my desk, I have a Nest Hub display, which I like a lot better than the Echo Shows. And I demoted my Echo Show to the corner because it was showing me way too many advertisements and self-promotions. To get in my studio, check this out. There's a handle that you can't open unless you scan your fingerprint, and then it opens. It's pretty sweet. I like it because we have a lot of expensive camera gear, and it helps keep my kids out. Over in the corner, we have another IKEA shade, as well as an IKEA Sonos lamp with a LifeX candle bulb inside. And that LifeX candle bulb is awesome because it can display multiple colors at the same time. You got another Nest Hub display, floating light bulb, some Govee light strips in the corner, a bunch of LifeX lights. And behind me, we have some Govee wall lights. Thank you so much for hanging out with me around my house. Believe it or not, we're going to be adding more smart home devices to our house throughout the year, so make sure you're following the channel. Thanks for watching.
Why is there bread in the iPad box?
Actually, I was thinking we could take a break today from iPads.
Oh, great. You can play with me for the next 12 hours until bedtime.
Yeah. Here you kids
Wait,
go.
what?
Yeah, here, just go play.
Help, help, there's bread in the bread box.
Well, that guy must have spent a lot of time and a lot of money. The number of different devices and different systems that he had is amazing.
Yeah, it boggles the mind that someone would have that much money and that much interest.
Well, you know, if he's got 3 Tesla power walls, he's not hurting for money.
I could not go find that other video while I was doing this, and I don't think I can. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I can now. Come on, there we go. Yeah, I can close that. Is this the one that I want? Nope.
So I think that was rhetorical.
Yep. I will put up the pros and cons video link after this meeting.
Will has his hand up.
But for now, I think we just should go on with the regular stuff. And the regular stuff is, well, where are you? Regular stuff. There you are. Yes, Will. You're muted. I see your lips moving, but you're muted, Will.
Yeah, this guy obviously is way smarter than I am and has a lot more money than I have. And I'm wondering how much his electric bill is every month. But I was happy to see all these things that are available. I had no idea that these type of electronics were available. So good to learn about it. Thank you, Hank.
Yeah, I think that you know, if you have some interest in some one thing that you would like to do, you can watch that video again. You'll probably find it. And I'm sure if you actually go and watch it on your own system, that you will be able to get at the questions and answers that he has at the bottom of that presentation. You could probably learn some more there. Okay, anybody else with comments or questions about the presentation? Yes, David.
Yeah, I was just, there's, I think you need a fair bit of either electrician type skills or as well as computer skills to install all of that stuff, unless you pay someone to do it, which makes the price go up even more. But I was going to show one little thing that I had for automation in my house, which I have that little 3D printer. I mean, I think I showed you guys last year or something like that. Well, I attached onto that little 3D printer a little Raspberry Pi, and now I can control it and monitor it from my office and everything. And I'll just show if I can show the screen here. Let me just share screen, share. You should be able to see that, and basically I can monitor, the temperature of everything. I can then, let's say I wanted to start a new print. I just click that from the list here, and it's starting to go. I can see it there. The bed is now heading towards 60 degrees, and while it's running, I can actually watch it on the camera that's attached to it. And then as it prints, I can watch every layer as it goes down and as it draws on here. But then this was a pretty cool thing that I can do. And that way I can be here doing stuff in my office and still keep an eye on the 3D printer, because in some ways 3D printers don't always work right, and something can break loose, and then it'll just be spinning filament all over the place, and you get this horrible looking batch of spaghetti if you don't stop it soon. So I'm just going to cancel the print, and then I'll stop share. That was one interesting piece of automation that I've had and got installed and found actually to be useful.
Thank you, David. Let's see, you're not Marty, are you?
Yep, Marty.
Oh, you are Marty. Okay.
So my question I wanted to ask, and as many people as want to can answer. He mentioned about he used the Echo Dot for listening to music. And I'm curious about those devices to listen to music. I didn't want to spend the money until I had some sense of what's a good one and what's not a good one. And I like Spotify, and I like radio stations, some of the radio stations, but not very many, but a few. So that was my question.
Anybody want to take a crack at answering that?
Yeah, I can answer that. I use a Dot, an Amazon Dot, and it's set up. I do have to pay a monthly fee for music, but it's not that much. I don't know, maybe $5 or less. And I just talk to the A girl, Alexa, and I say, play such and such, and within milliseconds up comes that particular music and plays. Works great.
And what's the brand?
It's the Amazon Dot, D-O-T.
And the other one is what that you didn't choose?
It's it's a advanced version. I think it's called the Echo. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Echo, I think. I think he covered that in the presentation and the advantages and disadvantages of each, Marty. I'd suggest you go to the website and play that part of the presentation for yourself again.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
You can probably go to the Amazon website too and get YouTubes or whatever about each of these, give you more information.
Although I usually go and I will put in the product names and say reviews and look for reviews from independent magazines as opposed to advertising.
Good idea.
Yeah, So you can go to Google and say dot reviews, and you can go to Google and say echo reviews, and you'll get lots of pros and cons.
Yeah, I use the Dot as a intercom in the house. I have several around the house, so if my wife wants to talk to me, she just they are assigned a location, so she'll just say bedroom or something, and then talk, and I can hear it. So it's a fairly inexpensive intercom system, and it works great.
I'm not sure that's actually a life enhancer, but never mind.
I'm sorry, say again.
I'm not sure being able to be found at any point is a plus for quality of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your wife always knows where you are and what you're doing, you must have either a wonderful marriage or never mind. Patricia.
I just wanted to comment on, I guess, Will's question about how much the electric bill was. He's got solar panels, and judging by the size of the house, he's got enough to power his stuff. But the other thing is that years ago, my brother got me the Amazon Echo, and I really love that thing. I mean, I get up every morning and I ask where the weather is here, there, and everywhere, and it's really neat. I also use it as a reminder, like sometimes in the laundry room, you want to soak something for 15 minutes, and then like usually a couple hours later, you remember. Well, you can just tell, remind me in like 15 or 20 minutes, and it reminds you. It's really cool. You do have to know how to shut it up, though. That's very important. Very important.
I think all you do is say, Alexa, shut up.
No, I just say, Alexa, stop. I don't know. Maybe shut up will work too, but it seems rude. No, they're very sensitive.
It looks like a router issue. So
you don't want to use that word when you're talking because it's listening.
Plug it back in.
As you can hear, maybe through my microphone, I use the word, I call her the A-girl instead of the full name. And,
it wasn't mine. I thought I had the door closed.
Yeah. But no, you're right. In fact, the A-girl is in my Kindle device also, so that, anytime I need information from the A-girl, I just ask the question, and within milliseconds, she comes up with the answer, no matter what question you might have. You may get a lot more information than you were asking for, though.
Yeah, and she does also lately, I don't know if this is all the same type of thing, but she also volunteers stuff like, would you like a daily meditation and all this other stuff? And so I just say no. But yeah, it's
people worry that she or whatever may be listening into what's going on. I don't know if that's a big problem. Personally, I don't worry about it because I hopefully don't have any secrets that I don't want to share, but I don't.
What's your social security number, Will?
What's that?
Yeah.
I think essentially they're just programmed to listen for the keyword.
On the subject of timers, I learned just this last week that when I can't find the kitchen timer that I needed for what was in the microwave, I pull out my smartphone, go to Google and say, set a timer for 10 minutes. And all of a sudden there on the face of my smartphone is a timer counting down. It already reads 9:50.
You should be able just to talk to your phone and do that. You shouldn't have to go to an app.
Oh, you're right. That's what I did. Oh, you're saying I don't have to go to Google first.
No, because your phone is running Google if it's an Android phone. So you can just say, Google, set a timer for, or stay date, or dentist appointment at, and it will put that in your calendar and remind you. As the gentleman mentioned last week, it says that if you do in the mapping program, and I don't remember exactly how to do that, you can say, I need to arrive at this time at this location. And then it will remind you saying, well, with the traffic conditions where they are now, you better be leaving now to get there.
And that's all part of Google Maps, right?
Yes.
Google is ubiquitous. Mr.
Wouldn't you like to be alive 50 years from now and find out what technology we have then? It's amazing what we have right now.
I'll settle for being alive next week.
1 week at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing about what I want in 50 years is I want to get rid of all the cords. So I'd like to have something where there's like no cords. Like cords everywhere here.
That guy this morning had cords to the max.
Saul, do you have a question?
Saul, you're up.
Hi, I just wanted to share a little related humor from years ago, so I will do that quickly and briefly.
Yeah, the clapper. I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
A funny story from my history. One of the first TV remotes that we had used a little sonic thing. It had little tuning forks in it. You click it and the TV would go. Our dog would come in and he had a metal collar. And when he would, that would rattle and it would change the TV. It would turn the sound off, it would change the channel. Just from the sound that his collar made when he walked by.
Yeah, I have a Roku TV and it has a speech recognition built into it. So from the remote, you can just tell it what you want and it'll go find it and put it on the screen. It works pretty successfully, sometimes not, but for the most part, it's really good.
Yeah, most smart TVs now have that, and built in the remote. There's a button in the remote that's blue, as I remember. You push that blue button and say, music, it's easy listening. And so there's that channel suddenly takes over your TV. Okay. Are there more comments, questions, discussions about smart homes and smart things in this presentation? I will get you that pros and cons at the website later.
Okay, are you going to have a program on the pros and cons like next week or something, or?
No, I'm just going to
put it on the website. Okay.
The pros and the cons. Right at the very beginning, there are two boxes, red and blue. One listing all the pros and the other listing all the cons. Fran, you're muted.
Yeah, so on the subject of Alexa or
Try not to say that word while you're speaking here, because some people have those devices.
The behavioral. Yeah.
She who will not be named. It's most of the older people are not comfortable with it because they don't like all this recording going up into the cloud. But I know all the younger crowd, they love it. And I meet with 6 high school friends. We're all 70 now. We were talking about that. And one of my friends, has a grandchild. And she was saying how all her kids is Alexa this, Alexa set a timer, Alexa blah, blah, blah. And guess what the first word was? Alexa for the baby. So I don't know, it's a cultural thing to accept or not accept.
I would not want to give any child a name that is that, because one, everyone will be ordering it around, and 2, it'll be very confusing.
No, that wasn't her name. That was her first word she said.
Oh, the first word that she said. Okay.
But David's point is well taken, because that has already happened, is that people go up to people with that name and say, what's the weather in Des Moines? And things like that. And it's kind of harassing, so it's like bullying people.
Although one comment I would say, Fran, is that I wouldn't worry too much about recordings going up into the cloud. Most of the speech recognition is done at the edge now, and it figures out what it wants. Then it makes a regular, information request out to the web. So most of what's going to be tracked is the information you're asking for. The actual your voice print and your speech is probably just being processed right there locally inside the machine.
So it's the same as Googling something.
Yeah.
Cause they,
Yeah.
okay, thanks for that update.
Yeah. That's not necessarily true, but I think it's becoming more and more common to have all the processing done at the edge is what they call it. Is that pretty much what you think, Ross? Have you heard that as well?
Muted.
Okay, so no, I have not heard that, but as far as setting up the devices for older people, most of the people I work with, we set up a device that listens. They want to use it to play music. So once it's set up and connected, it's usually play Frank Sinatra, play big band, play whatever, and it just plays. I'm not aware that we had to pay for anything to get music service, but maybe there are specific things we can't get that you get, Will, with the services that you are paying for.
Yeah, this is called an Amazon Music service.
Yeah. Okay, I ask every now and then I'll ask Amazon to play a certain tune, and she won't play that tune. But she'll play something like it. Now she'll play that tune if I sign up for the music service, which I don't. So I just listen to whatever they have. So you can say play something, and she will play something similar.
Can I go to my smartphone, Ross, and say, go to YouTube and play Frank Sinatra? Will I get a YouTube Sinatra?
I would think so. You know, it's not the A girl.
Interesting. Okay, I think it's time to move on to Q&A. So,
do we have any cues?
Will is the A person.
I don't see any hands up.
I don't see any cues.
Yeah.
So we're going to call Will the A guy now.
Let me make a point. I had a TV go south, so I went on Amazon and looked up 1080p Roku 32-inch TVs. $169. Can you believe that? Delivered to your door tomorrow.
So I would have, Amazon's a great place to buy a lot of things. I do that, but a lot of electronics items like televisions and computers, I try to go to Costco and see if they have one that's comparable. When you buy something through Costco, it has a 2-year warranty if you walk in and pay cash. If you happen to have one of their city branded credit cards, Costco branded city card, I should say, you get an additional 2-year warranty for free. So again, if it's a comparable $150 or $150, I would buy something from Amazon, from Costco. And generally when I find something at Costco, it has the best specifications for the price that I can find.
And it's a lot easier to take back there in person than ship it back if it doesn't work.
You can buy it online and hand it back to them without the box and say, no, thank you, within the first 90 days with no issues at all. They just hand you back cash. Beyond that, they will help you get it repaired if necessary with their concierge service.
A good point. I have a Costco within, 5 miles of my house, so that's fine.
I had an interesting experience with the returns with Amazon. I was in Hawaii and I bought something that had a lithium battery in it. I think it was a toothbrush. Yeah, it was. It was an Oral-B electric toothbrush. And after I ordered it and it was delivered, I realized that I already had a brand new Ortho-B electric toothbrush. I didn't need this. So I wanted to just send it back and get a refund and so forth. So I may, you go through, anyone has been through the Amazon return process, wave your hand, huh? Okay, for those who don't know, it's pretty easy. They say, they say, do you want a refund or do you want a replacement? And whatever you say, they say, why are you sending this back? And I've returned things and say, I screwed up. I ordered the wrong thing. I wanted this thing instead of that thing. And sure, they just send you a label and you take this to a UPS store. It said, took it to the UPS store with the label. The label was, let's see, I forget which way this worked, but either the label was 2-day air and I had to have 1-day ground or something rather like that, or vice versa, because of the rules about shipping lithium batteries to and from Hawaii. And it didn't work. Whatever they sent me didn't work. UPS wouldn't take it. They said, if we take it, they'll just send it back. So I called up and got a real live person at Amazon and talked this whole thing through. And finally, he just threw up his hands and he said, never mind, we'll just give you the refund. Keep it. I thought you all might find that worthwhile to know. They're very, very friendly. Fran.
Well, you know,
Pat, you want to talk first? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna add to Hank's that you can take it to Kohl's. You know, and then you get a $5 coupon for going to Kohl's, or $5 or $10 worth of merchandise at Kohl's if you want. Kohl's is just up the street for me, so I don't send it back anymore. So I don't know if they have Kohl's in Hawaii, but it's always a good place.
In San Diego, there's a UCSD site. Don't try to go there. You can't get there from here.
Going
I spent better
anywhere
part
on
of an
UCSD
afternoon
camp,
trying to get there.
going anywhere on UCSD campus is a chore, and you had to find a parking structure that will allow you in. And anyway, I would stay away from campuses. They tend to be overcrowded. Fran?
So a couple of things I want to bring up. First, I do a lot on Amazon, obviously, but I guess it might not be a problem in the US, but if you have, there's the Amazon.ca and then there's the third-party sellers. And the third-party sellers are not always so forgiving, like you have to pay postage going back, or, they gotta, think about it for a while. So be careful when you order. Try to make sure it's not a third-party person. And the Costco thing, except for electronics, I guess, almost anything you can buy, if you buy it from there, they have it on record, you can return it 5 or 10 years later even. And I found that out after I bought a vacuum cleaner from Amazon. It was 3 months out and it didn't work and I had no options. And I said right then and there, from now on, I only buy Amazon. I bought a robot wand, one of those robot wands that emptied itself. And I bought that from Costco. I had it 9 months. It just wasn't working out. And they took it right back. And for shipping, if you do have to ship to Costco, that's easy too. They'll have somebody come to your house and pick it up.
Ross?
So the one place I would recommend you be very, very careful if you purchase items from is from Best Buy. They are known for adding on to the computers. They set up things, they will do the updates, they'll install their antivirus program that'll work for a while, and then they will want you to pay for it. Return policies are very restrictive. I do not care to purchase from them because of their business practices. If it's a mouse, then I'm not doing much with it, something simple like that, then I'll buy it from Best Buy. Other than that, I'd be very careful when you buy things from them and look at the documentation as far as what they're talking about for warranties and return policies before you give them your credit card.
Interesting.
You know, further to the lithium question, if you want to buy something from Amazon which contains a lithium battery, sometimes they will not deliver that to your house. You have to go pick it up at one of their sites, local sites. I believe that happened to me. I don't know if it's still true or not.
I've not had that problem.
Pat?
Okay, I just wanted to add about Best Buy, because I was going to ask about Best Buy. My son doesn't, belong to Costco yet. I'm sure he's going to at some point, but he always did Best Buy because he's had things replaced, and like a year or two later, he got new TVs and knew that. So I guess, according to Ross, I guess those things have changed. So I'll pass that along to him. The other thing about the lithium batteries is when you travel, you have to be really careful about, traveling with those lithium batteries in your cameras and whatever electronics you've got. Because when we were in China, we got pulled over. They actually pulled us out of the customs line and searched through all my luggage to try to find a lithium battery, which they actually did. I forgot what it was in, some obscure electronic thing that I had to have. But yeah, they are really, now I'm really cautious about those lithium batteries. Let's put it that way.
What did
I
they
think
do with the battery? Did they take it from you or?
Yeah, they took it out. It was in my, I think it was in my, I'm trying to remember how it went, because that was like back in 2008 or something. I'm not sure what they did.
Everybody's phone has lithium batteries in it,
And for a while with the Samsung batteries that were blowing up in the phones, they came up with a procedure where if you had a phone like that, they would put it into a special sleeve that was fire resistant sleeve. And then they would hand it back to you at the other end. Because all your phones and your devices, yes, have batteries in them. Where this all came from was the value jet crash that was in Florida. They were sending back oxygen generating canisters for refurbishing. So like when the airplane says that, you pull on this thing and then you can breathe, those are canisters that actually burn. And when they burn, they give off oxygen. They were not properly stored, and those caught on fire and brought the jet down. Well, after that happened, they went through and said, gee, what are all the other things that we allow to be shipped that could cause a fire in an airplane? And that was charged batteries were one of the things that they said you can't do anymore. You need to send them by ground. Back to Best Buy. Best Buy does have a policy that you can purchase additional to the purchase price, to get anything replaced. If you have a vacuum cleaner and you buy this additional warranty, you come in and say, it don't work anymore. And they go, yes, sir. And they hand you another one. So they do have that available at what charge, I don't know, but it's not included in the original price.
Well, yeah, I can add to that. That's my microwave story. And actually, I bought one from them. It was a good price. There was the GE one. In fact, my son still has that one, or the one similar to that. And I bought it, and then 2 years, and I bought that extra warranty that you were talking about, bought it in just within the time because it was about ready to go. And what happened was the first place I had to wait 3 weeks for a microwave because they didn't have one that was like mine available. So you had to wait 3 weeks without a microwave, which is something I use like umpteen times a day. So I had to go out and buy a cheap one from Walmart, which we still have and works. And then when I finally got the microwave, it was the same type of thing, but I had to go pay another $160, $170 for that because there was some sort of a difference there in the price. And I could not get the extended warranty on that. So that's my Best Buy microwave story. So I'll probably go back to Costco.
Yeah, it's all what the total price is and accessibility to those services. And like what Hank mentioned about the return policy from Amazon, it's great. And so being able to return something through them, and a lot of times, and my wife buys a lot of things from eBay, clothes. And if she gets a piece of clothing that's used and there's a problem with it, most of the time the vendors say, we're sorry, here's your money. And so it's up to the individual that you are buying from. But if you buy with PayPal through eBay, it's a very good process. Amazon, the same way. And Costco, you walk in and say, I don't like it because it's blue. And they go, yes, ma'am, here's your money.
Yeah, Amazon, if the item, it probably costs less than the shipping charge, they say, keep it, we'll give you your money back. That's happened a couple times for me.
Mhm.
But I was gonna comment on the lithium battery. Recently, a Tesla caught on fire. I don't know if that was here in San Diego. I think it was. And they were trying to put out the fire, and they were hosing it down and dropping it into a pit of water or whatever, which I think is a wrong thing to do maybe for a lithium fire. But apparently when a Tesla burns up, there's a lot of battery problems.
A lot of stored energy that has to go someplace.
Any electric car has been a problem. The Chevy Bolt was the same problem, and they've recalled them all, and they're changing all the batteries out. And it was for a long time that there were parking garages interior at where if you had interior parking, you could not park your specific electric vehicle in that building. Because I've seen a video of the same way where there was a Tesla in a parking garage, I believe in China, and it caught on fire, and the cars, 4 or 5 cars around it, all caught on fire because of the flames that were coming out of that car. So yes, that electric car is a problem, but a gasoline car could be the same thing if there was a dripping leak from the gasoline itself. It's not as often, but it does happen with gas cars also.
Well, they're looking now at the total cost of these electric cars, not discounting what it costs to recharge them, which I understand is like 7 times the cost of gasoline, but
No.
I don't know if those numbers
No.
are right. But if you add up all the cost of the electric car, I don't know that I've ever seen that number.
There's also
There's lots of articles out there that says, okay, I drove my electric car 100,000 miles, 3 years, whatever it is, and this is what my total cost was. And they can be comparable to a gasoline car if it was in a comparable size. My question is, for me, is it's okay, I went out and bought a used car. I used a 2006 Camry, and it cost me $4,500. Should I have bought an electric car that was anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000? I'm hard time justifying that amount of money tied up in an electric car. Is it really going to save me money over the mileage that I use? So you have to factor in how much you're using it. Charging an electric car, I think would cost in a matter of a few dollars most of the time to charge it from empty to full. They do have to use what are called charging stations, and there are ways for them to charge as much as they want at a charging station. But again, I don't think you're going to spend more on charging it than you would for a gas car.
Well, if you charge at home, do you have to upgrade your house electrical system, or even the neighborhood electrical system if everybody has an electric car in your neighborhood?
I have not heard that having to go neighborhood if, say, that everybody on the block went to electric car. A lot of them do, like the gentleman we saw on the automation today, where he has the solar panels that charge his Tesla batteries on the wall, so that when he charges at night, then he's actually pulling from those batteries to charge his car. You can charge your electric car off the standard 110, but it will take 10 to 12 hours to charge that car up. If that's okay, then you don't need to do anything else. You get an adapter, plugs into a 110 outlet that's outside, and it will charge the battery. What a lot of places people do is they buy a charger that will run off of the same power as your dryer or electric oven, the 220 volts. And then that will charge in 4 to 5 hours on a lot of the systems.
And most people, charge, they come home, they plug it in, and then in the morning, they leave with it, and it's already filled up.
People that I
Also-
know that do that, a lot of businesses that they work at have charging stations at work. So they use one of those, if the one's available, then they will drive to work, plug it in and charge during that day that they're at work, and then drive back home and then come back to do it the same thing. So they're not an issue for charging. There are charging stations around at the Vons that's by me here in Claremont. There are at least 15 Tesla charging stations there, and those are all full. Now, Vons has a couple more at the other end of the parking lot for people who are shopping. So you can plug in there, and I don't know if there's a fee or not to use those charging stations. I'm sure there is with the Teslas.
Yeah. I understand that you might be able to use your Tesla or your electric car battery as a backup system for your house. I don't know the details, but I heard it was feasible.
It depends on the electric car, and yes, some of them have a 110 outlet, so you could plug in an item into a 110 outlet. I don't know about additional amount of power. So let's say you wanted to get 220 out and plug that into your house to fire the whole house. I know you can do that. I don't know, as far as when you buy the car off the showroom floor, it has that capability to power the whole house.
Yes.
But to be able to charge, run auxiliary lights, to run a freezer or something like that, to say I need to have that, I think you can do that with a number of them. And you just have to see that when you go to buy the electric car, what capabilities it has to charge something else or run something else.
There should be a rating for how many amps it can deliver, and then you see
Voltage.
all the devices that you're plugging in. What does an amperage add up to?
Right.
I also heard that you might be able to put that power back into the system and get paid for it.
Okay, so that would be similar to say, what do you get paid back for off of solar panels? So let's say you just have solar panels on your roof, and you, during the day, you generate more electricity than what you are using during the day. Yes, there was some accounting for that, to say you generated X number of kilowatts extra than what you used. I don't have one. I know that there was for a while there that the electric companies wanted to discount that amount of that electricity that you sent to them. So they would charge you, say, 15 cents a kilowatt when you bought it from them. But if you were trying to sell it to them, they would buy it from you for, say, 5 cents a kilowatt, because that was their wholesale prices.
Yeah.
So the best is to zero it out as much as you can. You use what you generate.
Right. Okay, Dan has his hand up. Dan?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I recently ordered some batteries from Walmart, which is less than a mile from here, and asked them to ship them. They shipped my AAA batteries. They would not ship the coin battery from my computer BIOS.
Yeah, those are lithium,
Yes.
or silver.
Okay, is that it, Dan?
But I've bought a number of different type of coin batteries from Amazon in 10, 20 packs, and never had a problem with them. So it depends on the different ones that are, so where you're buying them from, I think.
Fran?
Back to the electric car, I've had a Toyota Prius plug-in for about 10 years, and it goes 10 miles on just basic electricity. You can plug in your garage. I can plug it in an outlet at my work, and it's been brilliant. They do have it coming out now with, it'll go further, like 20 miles or 30 or something like that. But since I live in a small area, I can go that 10 miles. I get 999 miles per hour when I go to work, and then go to yoga, and then go to the library, and then come home. So
Fran, I don't think you're going 999 miles per hour, maybe per gallon.
Yes, yes, that too. My brain sometimes does that. Okay,
So
you're right.
This Prius is a hybrid, right, Fran?
That's a
Yes,
hybrid.
yeah,
It
yes.
has a- Yeah,
So
you
when-
need to explain that. It has a gas engine in it.
Yes, yeah. So it uses the electric, but it also goes back to being a regular Prius.
So just
Yeah.
like the Tesla batteries on the wall, her version of the Prius has a battery in there that you can charge. And then when she drives, she gets about 10 miles before that battery is emptied and the gas battery needs to plug in. Most of the Priuses just have a battery, do not have a battery. They run off of the electric motor having to run, or excuse me, the gas motor having to run all of the time.
And one of the interesting thing is the battery charges if you do things like if you're putting on your brake, things like that. So-
Charging, yep.
A word of caution, though, I had a Prius hybrid. Don't run out of gasoline. If you do, the battery will not work. I discovered that, unfortunately, and I thought, well, if I run out of gasoline, I've got a battery that will take me another 10 miles. The answer is no. If you don't have gasoline motor running, for some reason, you cannot use the battery.
Yours was a hybrid. I mean,
It was
it
a hybrid,
plug-in?
yes.
Was it a plug-in?
No, it was a hybrid.
So you don't have a battery that will run the car like she does.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a hybrid, Will,
Well, it is a hybrid because it's a gas electric car,
but it's not a plug-in.
You're correct. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. And you were also.
Pat?
Yeah, well, thanks, Will. I've got the Prius hybrid too, but not the plug-in. But
Right.
I was gonna, Fran said it first, but a friend of mine has also got the plug-in. I didn't realize that you had a plug-in, Fran. But she drives all day on a plug-in. She doesn't put gas in her car because she doesn't go that far apparently. But so yeah, it's I think the hybrid is a good thing. I would have gotten the hybrid, but you have to. I think you have to put in something special in your garage to charge it. And there really wasn't enough room in my garage. I have to clean it out. But my next car will be a plug-in. I don't want a total electric car though. There's not, if you want, you'd have to have another car if you had just an electric car is my thought, because I like to, like hit the road and there's just not enough stations anywhere in the country, anywhere in San Diego County, actually, to plug in. And then you have to sit there and it's not like putting gas in your car, which takes 15 minutes. You'd have to be there for hours while the thing charged. So anyway.
They're working on extending the mileage in all of the electric cars, and most of them are above 200 miles range and charging. There's a lot of them that are working on ways to charge them quicker than what they have in the past. So if it's 5 to 10 years from now, then when you go to do that, the marketplace will look different. And I would be surprised if you couldn't find an electric car that would do what you want. As far as being out of the city and where can you charge it? Yes, you have to be considering of that. From what I read, it says that there are either going to be, most of the cars are going to full electric. The hybrids are falling from favor because of the weight and the extra for the battery and the motor in there, that they're going to go to full electric and then again work on the faster charging and the longer distance with the batteries that they put into the car, which are getting better every year. They're much better than what they were the year before.
Until the batteries are better, a hybrid means that you're paying actually for an engine and a motor, so you're carrying extra weight around, and you're carrying the battery weight even if you're not using it. But
Right.
It does give you those two options that if you don't have a place to charge it, you can still run off gas.
Yeah. Barbara?
You're muted.
There we go. Okay, I have a 2017 Toyota Prius Prime, and it's hybrid. And I think I get probably, maybe up to 50 miles on a charge. I charge it up at home. It works out quite good. It's just got a regular plug-in. And usually if it's down to almost used all the extra up, it usually takes about 5 hours to charge it up. And it works out quite well. A funny thing happened a few months back. I got in the car and the message came up, you haven't put any fuel in here for quite a while. I think it's time you stop by the gas station. So, which was true. It had been about 1.5 years since we had put in fuel in. So I went over to the gas station and figured out what I had to do, and I put in, but it only took about 10 gallons. And I figured the way I drive, since most of my, all my driving is probably within a 25-mile range of my home, I figured it'll be another couple of years before I need to put any fuel in. So I'm really happy with it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dan?
Yeah, you have to think about that gas sitting in the tank all that time, because the gas goes bad after a while. You usually have that problem with boats. But if you have an automobile, it's only using electricity, and you have a tank of gas back there, and you run it for a couple of 3 years, you're probably going to have a problem with the gas stopping up the carburetor, not the carburetor, but the fuel injectors.
You might need to put an additive in there like they do for boats and lawnmowers that will keep it from going bad and gumming things up.
Interesting. Okay, David, do you have a comment? Okay. Yeah, with the electric car, my problem is what I call range anxiety, you know. Where are you going to find the next charging station, and do you have time to wait for it to charge? But I guess if you work that out ahead of time, it's not a problem. I would worry if I were going to drive from here to Las Vegas, you know, wondering whether I'm going to make it or not without a recharge.
So your smartphone has a way for you to figure that out, sir.
Okay.
Well, my pal that has the plug-in, they drive all over with theirs. I'm not sure how they do that, but they've been to Las Vegas. They're always up in Fresno. They've been to Arizona. They've got relatives all over the place. So they don't seem to have any problem with their plug-in.
There's an app for that.
So if it's a plug-in hybrid, not just a straight electric car, then yes, you can run virtually forever if you just keep it stopping every once in a while when it says feed me, and then it will let you run forever.
Yeah,